Hi there, I'm Sunil Iyengar, Director of the Office of Research and Analysis at the National Endowment for the Arts. This is Measure for Measure, our monthly look at data that gives us insight into the arts and culture in the U.S. and beyond. Recently, the NEA, in collaboration with the Bureau of Economic Analysis, or BEA, released the latest statistics measuring the value of the arts to the U.S. economy. These numbers translate not only to a range of cultural experiences that we can participate in, but they also mean business and employment opportunities in a range of arts-related fields. So, how do we calculate that value? Well, the NEA and BEA identified 35 different industries from both the commercial and nonprofit arts and cultural sectors and measured how much in dollars each industry added to the overall economy. These industries include everything from what we usually think of as the arts, like performing arts organizations and musical instrument manufacturing, to other less apparent arts industries, such as creative advertising and arts-related construction. Now, what does the data show? In 2023, the most recent year for which we have data, it turns out the arts sector grew at twice the rate of the nation's economy in general. In 2022, the arts economic value had grown by nearly 4% from the previous year and ended 2023 having leapt to nearly 7%. This compares with a 2 to 3% growth rate for the total economy over this period. Did you know that our arts and cultural sector also boasts a trade surplus? The U.S. exports $37 billion more in arts and cultural commodities than we import. This is pretty amazing given the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the arts and cultural sectors. Not surprisingly, with all the shutdowns, the reluctance to leave our homes, and the accompanying loss in revenue, we saw a severe toll on the total arts economy in 2020. Before 2019, the arts had grown as a share of gross domestic product, or GDP, by over 4%. GDP captures the value of the goods and services produced in the United States over a given period. With the arrival of COVID, the value of the arts and of total GDP showed losses by the end of 2020 rather than the year-over-year growth trends of before. But, as the 2023 numbers tell us, the arts and cultural sector is recovering. In fact, for the third consecutive year since the pandemic, arts and cultural businesses have made up an estimated 4.2% of the nation's GDP, or more than $1 trillion. Healthcare and the retail trade are among the top contributors to our economy, but arts and culture yields a higher amount of value added than such other major sectors as transportation and warehousing, outdoor recreation, mining, and agriculture, to name a few. Another way to look at pandemic recovery is payroll. There are 5.4 million paid workers in the arts who drew $554 billion in wages. While this number does not capture self-employed workers who work alone, their activities are captured in the total economic value reported. Among industries employing the largest numbers of arts workers are government services, arts retail, broadcasting, motion picture and video industries, and web publishing and streaming. While the overall story is one of resilience, there are some arts industries that have not weathered post-pandemic conditions with the same ease, including performing arts organizations and independent artists, writers, and performers. These new stats from the BEA also let us look at the economic value added by the arts at the state level. From 2019 to 2023, all 50 states showed growth in this area. Visit our website, arts.gov, to learn more about the state-level data, including which states showed the most growth. Even if you're not a data nerd like me, I encourage you to visit the news section on our website for even more information. We also have a list of additional resources for learning about how arts and culture intersect with our economy. At first glance, it may seem like this information is only useful to policymakers or economists, but I think it's important for all of us to consider how arts and culture don't just strengthen our national and state economies, but also are hard at work in our own local communities. Thank you.